guys, we're talking about how Eric doesn't acknowledge he has C.T.E. He doesn't understand.
Yeah, he doesn't know.
Right. He was talking, I guess, Tyler, to your brother. Dylan's dad was. And yeah, isn't that weird? What a small world. I didn't even tell Dylan I was going to try to talk to you today. It's Christopher Gregoire's mom's idea for me to talk to you. And I had thought about it previously, but it came up today. And I was like, this is a great subject because of the monumental fight that nobody's listening. Doesn't seem like, you know. You think your death would be enough and Eric being messed up and Junior, but it's having to come down in spades for these humans to get this. And but I guess Eric was telling your brother that our son has lost his brother too. And he didn't put it together. He was just talking, but he didn't put it together, the C.T.E. Like, Dylan also has a father with C.T.E. Yeah.
Wow.
That's not being told at all by his family.
Oh, yeah. No disrespect to your family, Tyler, but they're not admitting that C.T.E. is what took your life. They don't know. It's a shock. I'm sure that it's somewhere in there.
Yeah, he says that's not disrespectful. He says you're just stating the truth.
Yeah. And when I watched your mom, I cried because it's like she's still in shock, and it's very hard for the mom because it's like, I know she has her personal feelings, but that she's probably not speaking vocally. It's very hard when you have one son still loving football, just trying to digest it all, you know what I mean? And that's all you've been doing all these years. And I heard you were better at baseball. No offense, but you and your brother that's playing now are better at baseball, but you pursued football because your older brother, who's now done, there's 3 of you, was doing football.
Yep. He says you're right.
Okay.
He's congratulating Dylan for changing the game.
Yeah. For going a different route than your brother and your dad. Yeah. That's what Dylan wants to pursue baseball, is he wants to show kids you can play baseball. You don't have to play football. It's a much simpler game, a stick and a ball. And more money in it. Yeah.
Tyler said, if we can help just one, he says, hey, man. He does this, I don't know, it's like a wave. It's not a wave. It's like I don't know.
Right. It's so true. If we can help this one person.
Just one, change it up.
Right. So true. It's sad, huh? It's sad. Tyler, are you okay where you are? Of course you're okay. What am I talking about? I'm here. I know you're okay.
Yeah.
Is your mom doing better and your dad doing better?
He says, no, ma'am, I don't think so. They want answers. Even though they've been given answers, they want the answers to look like something else, somebody else's fault.
Yeah. I understand that. It's a process. I lost my son.
Well, he says also there's so much pride around football in our family, and it gives us a status to tell others, this is what my child does, but then to say that is also what took my child's life. He says we're just not there yet.
Oh, I get the whole thing. It's like you're a movie star and you just have to accept that it's okay not to be a movie star anymore. That movie star made you sick.
Yep.
No, I get it. It's deep. Like they're in the throes of it. And I hope your brother finds his way. I wish he'd switch to baseball. Would it be too late for him to switch to baseball? It's not too late to quit football, but could he switch? Or?
He can switch. He's already made a name for himself.
I wish he would. I bet people would give him more of a chance because of what he's gone through if he came out and made a statement.
Yes, they would. And they would highlight him. They would. You're right. Wow.
Maybe I have to send him a message. He won't listen to me, but I was his age. You don't listen at that age. You just don't. Life is meant to be lived backwards, but it's not. Yeah. That's heaven, right? Life backwards. That's when it gets good. Yeah.
He's hoping that in the college circuit that there's going to be grassroots movements of petitions of students to stop buying tickets, to treat their fellow man better. He doesn't feel like the pro league is going to be the one that makes a change. He says it's going to be college.
Bottom up.
Yeah. I hope this word spreads to others, where we want to protect each other. In my head, I see picketing. In my head, I see a huge outburst of student population, kind of blocking the entrances, game after game after game. Profits drop. A bunch of things. Sorry, I don't call them things. When people pay in, like a market sponsor,
Mhm.
I
Sponsors get
see.
dropped.
Yeah, I see sponsors going away because they don't want to be involved and it looks bad on them. And that's when the tipping point happens. That's when we get to decide, what do we need this to look like? So he's rallying his fellow students to make a difference. That was a good visual. Tell you what, Tyler's good at visuals.
Okay, so Tyler, I'm just in your mom's seat for just a second. Okay, so in 24 hours you went nuts in your brain, so you were just like, I'm done. But for a while you had this pain, but nothing like you did in that 24 hours. So it's not something you were
Correct.
planning for any time. You just like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I'm out of here. I saw that gun. I'm gonna go get it. I'm done.
Yep.
Did you leave a suicide letter?
No, I don't see anything like that.
Okay.
I think he left some goodbye words.
But
I don't know
nothing
if
big.
it's voice message or just talking to somebody where it was kind of sounded like closure, but it wasn't like I'm leaving forever, goodbye.
Right.
Go back to what you were just showing me. It's like, when you get a headache, you can, when you get a migraine, you can calm down, you get quiet, get in the dark, you can get it to go away.
Mm-hmm.
This is like a migraine, lasts all night, wake up, still have it. It was like, he said my brain had a seizure, and it was like something popped or burst or,
Something's in the wrong place.
yeah, and he's actually, Marshawn, he's associating like a sound to it. How sometimes you can get your jaw to pop
Mm-hmm.
or your ear to pop,
Yes.
but put that, it's not where the ears or the jawline is located. If you can put it on the inside, you can just drop that noise right in there, and there's nothing in there that needs to be making a sound. If so, we would have heard it, many times in our lifetime.
Right. I'm so sorry that you had to experience that and not feel that there was anyone that could help you. That the pain was so beyond living that you didn't think, oh, I can go to the emergency room or anything. You didn't even know what to do. Like, I'm just out of here. Like, this is done. Like
No.
that
Why
desperation.
didn't you think of an emergency room? He was afraid he was going to look crazy. He says, I was still walking and talking, still look fine. I can rationalize, I can tell you.
I know.
He says, from here to there, how bad I'm hurting on the inside. Nobody can feel it. Nobody can tell me that it's real.
I know.
Nobody can help. He had already come to that conclusion on his own with he said he'd seen it in other people. And when he saw it in other people, when they went and got help, whether it's from a therapist or whether it's from a doctor, they were not getting the help they needed. So why would he put himself through it? And why would he be labeled as injured? And if he was injured, would they play him? So there was that to take into consideration. Was his life already over? And since it was already over and he knew he wouldn't be played again, why not just take it? Whoa.
Right. So you didn't even, like, you were at such a heightened pain level that you didn't think, oh, what's my mom going to think, or what's my dad? You were just like, whoa. Like,
He said it was so past any of that that there was no going back. There was no, really to him, there was no alternative option. Was I going to stay alive so people could put needles on me? The way he describes this seizure, or this, not a seizure, but the popping feeling in his head is kind of like too much fluid in the brain, like the brain melted, like the brain created some kind of extra fluid that didn't exist before. So it creates a swelling.
yeah. To me, it's kind of like I visualize Tyler like almost like a person that goes to war, since we don't have a lot to compare it to that we've seen publicly. Like in the movies, how a person goes to war and they get shot up and they just need to be put out of their misery. Like you were an injured warrior, you know, and you just had to go. Like it just wasn't sustainable to drive yourself to the emergency room, or no, something was terribly wrong.
Wow. It was terribly wrong. And it's why he didn't want to see an emergency room. He knew if he went in there, he'd never play again, and they wouldn't be able to fix him. He's read the stories. He knows. He goes, I want everybody to know, as a player, Griffin. Griffin leans over the computer. He goes, football player.
Right.
Not like a player.
I know some players, Tyler, so that's why I declared that. Guess what?
When we're injured and we're hurt, we're researching it. We're reading the material that's out there. The majority of us are not trying to ignore it. We just don't want to be fired.
That's deep. And now with Google, you guys have access to everything.
Yeah.
You don't have to stay in the dark if you don't want to.
He honestly says the majority of us are not in the dark. It's not us keeping it secret.
Right.
You know,
I know.
it's the heads of the game.
Absolutely. It's follow the money. Yeah.
Oh.
So this being asked, sounds so dumb, but I have to ask it because Kenyatta wants me to. Chris and Griff and Tyler and Junior and whoever wants to answer. Knowing what you know now, would you play football again?
Griffin answers first. Of course, he never got to continue. He goes, but if I was in their shoes and alive, I'd fucking quit. Junior, he's kind of shaking his head like, ugh. I love that game and everybody in it. That was my family. But if you came to me with the fact of keep playing, you will lose this and you will lose your life. Oh my God, he's having a hard time answering.
I know.
He's like, is it early in the game? He's like, is it early in the game? If it's early in the game, right?
So sad.
He'd
Yeah.
say no, right? That's like saying to a guitar player,
I know.
if you keep playing guitar, you're going to lose your life. So just let me go ahead and cut your fingers off so you can't play this anymore. He goes, I know that doesn't make sense, but Junior's like,
me. I watched it.
But if I had already experienced those headaches and I knew that's what was coming, I already knew it, I would walk away immediately. It is not worth feeling that pain and that suffering and not being able to talk to your family, to your wife, to your mother. You know, I would walk. Boy, he struggled with that one.
I know, because he was a movie star, Jamie. Like he was in it, sewn in it. Like the point that football didn't shut down when he killed himself is mind blowing to me. That it didn't get reevaluated. It's so insulting. Insulting's not even a strong enough word.
That's a good word. It's a
It's
good
like
start, though.
It's like the Elvis of the game. He was the Elvis Presley of the game. And that it didn't stop for a minute and pause and say, what the hell's going on here? Is just, Dylan and I sit and go, how many people is it going to take? Like, it's got to, like, I don't get how you can get bigger than Junior. Like, I don't know why it's not being evaluated.
As you're saying all these beautiful things, he's like the Elvis of the game and everything like that.
Yes, yes.
Griffin is behind the camera and he's like, and Jamie doesn't know who he is.
I know.
Jamie has no idea who she's talking to. I'm like, I'm sorry. Just wasn't raised that way. Chris says yes, he'd quit. Tyler is 100% behind it, walking away.
Yeah, okay. So, Chris, you wouldn't play again knowing what you know now because your mom's going to ask me.
Oh, he backs up like you're asking me that. I answered you. That's
Okay.
a no.
Nope.
It is a no.
Right. Good.